Thank you for joining us for this look at some of the best stories from KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Coming up, Afghan allies were promised a new life in the United States. Hear from those who are still waiting to be reunited with family amid delays by the Trump administration. It's a healthy way to build friendships and community in San Diego, but the cost of joining an adult sports league is getting more expensive. And the latest in our series on housing, In Whose Backyard, looks at the health hazards of building near local freeways. And we start with immigration enforcement adding to the stress of a new school year. Gustavo Solis shows us how a group of volunteers are trying to help parents.
Let me give you this information. We're doing a Teachers at Lincoln. We're doing some awareness against ICE, given that ICE has been snatching our parents recently from Linda Vista last week elementary. And we want to tell the community that it's safe to come to school.
Lincoln High School teacher Rene Zambrano passes out flyers in front of the school Tuesday morning in English and Spanish.
La migra no tiene lugar en nuestro pueblo, nuestras comunidades, nuestras escuelas, okay?
He's a member of Unión del Barrio, an organization that has trained more than 100 teachers on how to protect students from potential immigration enforcement near schools. The group organized teacher patrols before school hours at several San Diego schools this week. They say demand is high, especially after federal agents detained parents near schools in Chula Vista and Linda Vista earlier this month. And news reports show similar arrests near schools nationwide. Erendira Ramirez is another teacher and an organizer with the Association of Raza Educators. She criticized what she calls the federal government's tactic of arresting people dropping off their kids at school.
You can approach people at any other time, and yet you're choosing to do it as they're picking up their kids, as they're dropping off their children, and that's unacceptable.
She says that it's important for teachers, parents, and students to show support for immigrant families.
We urge the community to be vigilant and aware of what is normal, what they're used to seeing in their community, so that when something is out of place, right, when you see somebody, a car that you don't recognize, a car that's looking like, with very dark tinted windows.
In emails to KPBS, the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed the arrest of parents near school campuses, but claims that agents are not targeting schools. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
The San Diego Unified School District sent a statement saying educators can volunteer with immigrant rights groups on their free time, but said, quote, as it relates to interacting with immigration enforcement officers during the school day, educators have been advised for their personal and legal safety not to intervene. A new report from UC Riverside warns that aggressive immigration enforcement is taking a serious toll on children's mental health. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says experts are calling it a public health crisis.
Outside Parkdale Lane Elementary in Encinitas on Wednesday morning, a child cries in their mother's arms as federal agents arrest their father. A new UC Riverside report says moments like these can have lasting consequences for children in immigrant and mixed status families.
Anxiety, stress, depression, even senses of hopelessness, mistrust, even suicidality in the course of that distress.
Dr. Lisa Fortuna is a child psychiatrist who co-authored the report. She and her colleagues compiled clinical data and community-based trauma research on children across the country from infants to teenagers. They found infants regressing and not sleeping or eating well, grade schoolers struggling to focus in class, and teens thinking about,
what would they do if they were separated from their parents? Are they going to have to take a parental role? And really sort of having a lot of distress and a lot more awareness.
At San Diego Unified's Newcomer Welcome Center, school counselor Juan Carlos Nieblas sees it firsthand.
I do feel there is an increase in stress and anxiety, and I feel a lot of it has to do with social media, what they see and they view online.
Nieblas works directly with students, connecting them with resources.
We are in collaboration with agencies in the community and in the school where students can receive services, whether it be mental health or housing or, just simply seeking Medi-Cal.
Dr. Fortuna says these collaborations are crucial.
What families are having to do is if they're working with a counselor or if they're working with schools, setting up plans. If we were separated, if something did happen, who would take care of you? What would happen? What would be our next step?
She says those conversations may be hard, but avoiding them can be worse. Without support, the long-term effects can include PTSD. For Nieblas, who grew up in San Diego with immigrant roots, supporting students feels personal.
I see myself a lot in these students and their families, and I can understand their stories and I can connect with them because I've had similar experiences.
Even amid uncertainty, he says students are finding strength in each other and building their own networks of support.
A lot of the students are in groups, so they walk together or they're in community a lot of the times. They communicate with each other. They protect each other.
Both Fortuna and Nieblas agree children can't be shielded from fear. But with teachers, families, and communities working together, they can be supported through it. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
The most visible part of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown has been its effect on immigrants already in the United States. KPBS military reporter Andrew Dyer takes a closer look at the policy's impact on Afghans still waiting to come to the U.S.
They're just being abandoned.
During the Biden administration, Jessica Bradley Rushing worked as a deputy director in the State Department's Office of the Coordinator for Afghan Relocation Efforts, or CARE. The office helped screen tens of thousands of former U.S. allies in Afghanistan and their families for eligibility for relocation to the United States. All that ended on Donald Trump's first day back in office. An executive order suspended refugee processing and travel.
I know people, literally personally, whose cases were right at the finish line on January 20th. And now their families are stuck in Afghanistan and they don't know when or if they'll ever be reunited.
Mohammed Rahimi was an attorney in Afghanistan who worked with U.S. forces. 10 years ago, he immigrated to the U.S. and became a citizen. Now he works with the Afghan immigrant community.
So these people came to the country in a rush system. Some of them left their wives behind. Some of them left their husbands behind. Some of them left their kids behind.
In June, the administration imposed a travel ban for a host of Asian and African countries, including Afghanistan. With only a narrow exception for some special immigrant visas, no one from Afghanistan can come to the United States.
So now the majority of these Afghans who came to the United States but left part of their families in Afghanistan, they are hopeless, they're voiceless, and they're unsupported.
Trump said last month the U.S. would honor its promises to its Afghan allies. We asked the White House about those approved to travel or caught in the middle of the process. A senior official says special immigrant visa processing is ongoing, but didn't say what'll be done for tens of thousands more Afghans who should be eligible to relocate. Bradley Rushing says today there are about 270,000 Afghan allies still in Afghanistan living in fear of the Taliban.
People who have at least deserve a shot at having their case processed. Not all of those cases will get approved, right? Yeah. But they at least deserve a shot to go through the process.
A State Department spokesperson says the policy changes are part of the department's new America First foreign policy. UC San Diego professor Barbara Walter says to understand why this is happening to Afghans, you have to understand what's driving it.
Trump and the MAGA movement is really underneath, in part, a white Christian nationalist movement. And when they say American First, one of the things that's included in that is that America remains dominated by white Christian and men as well.
Walter's an expert in violent extremism. Her book, How Civil Wars Start and How to Stop Them, explores threats to American democracy. She says a political backlash to shifting demographics in the U.S. is a major threat to democracy. White people will be a minority of the population within 30 years, and Walter says Trump knows it.
One of the things he absolutely has to do to stop that is to prevent any non-white, non-Christian immigrants from coming to this country. And of course, that would include Afghanistan.
She says the recent arrest of immigrants at routine court hearings, including that of a former Afghan interpreter in San Diego, are designed to strike fear in immigrant communities. If an immigrant misses their court date, they immediately become deportable. But if they come to court, they risk arrest, even if they're in the country legally.
This whole thing of trying to criminalize these legal Afghan refugees, trying to, force others who otherwise would have fulfilled the terms to break them. I mean, that's a classic tactic of authoritarians. It's weaponizing government against its citizens, when in fact, in a democracy, government should be doing the exact opposite.
Sean Van Diver is co-founder of nonprofit Afghan EVAC. He says until January, Operation Enduring Welcome was working, but now the U.S. is failing its Afghan allies.
Enduring Welcome is by miles and miles the safest, most secure legal immigration program in our country's history. We built it that way on purpose.
Bradley Rushing left the State Department and now works with Van Diver at Afghan EVAC.
These are people who risked their lives on a daily basis because they believed in the U.S. mission in Afghanistan, and we know who they are.
The State Department officials in charge of Afghanistan policy and refugees declined requests for interviews. Reuters reported last week the Trump administration is considering admitting as many as 40,000 refugees, with about 10,000 slots for Afghans and the rest reserved for white South Africans. Andrew Dyer, KPBS News.
New signs in the Tijuana River Valley are warning people about the dangers of toxic gases detected there. KPBS environment reporter Tammy Murga was there as government officials unveiled them.
It hasn't rained, but the Tijuana River, as you can see, is flowing and it's foamy and it's really smelly. That's why officials said today they want to put in warning signs.
That odor comes from a toxic gas because of sewage pollution from Mexico. Residents living nearby say it gives them headaches, coughs, and nausea. That's why the county and city of San Diego are placing warning signs in the river valley.
We want to make sure that our recreationists, our visitors, our ranchers, our farmers, who come or live or work in the river valley are well aware of the potential for exposure to the hydrogen sulfide gases.
The large red signs suggest that anyone avoid the immediate area and any contact with the river water. They are posted along the river at Saturn Boulevard and another at Dairy Mart Road. These areas are considered hotspots.
You can hear it. This turbulence is causing a lot of these pollutants, which include pathogens, viruses, bacteria, chemicals, and heavy metals, and obviously toxic gases.
San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria says posting the signs is a small effort, but
people deserve to know about these dangers so they can protect themselves and their loved ones.
Mexico and the U.S. federal government recently committed to speeding up solutions to end cross-border pollution. Aguirre says she is pushing to ensure that removing the hotspots is part of the overall fix.
2 signs have already been installed, and about a dozen more will go up along the river valley. From the shores of the Tijuana River, I'm Tammy Murga, KPBS News.
And that story by Tammy Murga is among our most popular this week. Here are some of the others. ICE arrests a parent near an elementary school in Encinitas. After 6 years, San Diego approves a 380-unit housing project next to the Blue Line trolley. And a big hike in fees for San Diego sports leagues. Here's that story from KPBS Gloria Penner fellow Mika Ellison.
Every Tuesday night, volleyball nets are set up at Mariners Point Park in Mission Bay. People flock to the beach, catching up with old friends and meeting new people, while joining pickup games and drills. Some have been playing volleyball for more than 40 years. Others just started that week. Here, they all have a chance to play. Life's to Beach Volleyball's drop-in volleyball skills clinic is donation-based, so players pay what they can. Xander Caulfield is one of the coaches.
They're very accessible to people from all walks of life. You don't have to be able to spend, maybe hundreds of dollars every couple of weeks or something to do these clinics.
That accessibility might be in danger. On July 1st, for-profit adult sports leagues in San Diego saw a huge jump in team fees, sometimes by more than $200, and that cost will likely be passed on to players. At a city council meeting in March, the Parks and Recreation Department recommended a gradual increase in team fees over 1 year, but the city council decided against that. The sudden increase in fees has left leagues reeling, and players like Danica Collins nervous.
The fee increase, I think, is going to really impact participation, because a lot of people come by themselves. They're like, okay, it's a low fee. I can do this. If it gets shut down or if the increase comes up, I can maybe only come once a week.
Councilmember Joe LaCava says the fee increase is needed to help balance the city's budget. He acknowledged the impact will be uneven.
Certainly we've heard from some of the smaller outfits that they make just enough to make it worth their effort. They're doing as much for the passion as they are for the minimal amount of, net proceeds that they achieve there.
LaCava wants to explore other options for commercial adult rec leagues in the future, including a possible model where the city gets a portion of the league's revenue, or different fee scales based on a business's size. But that won't come in time for league leaders this season. Some said the increase will make it much more difficult for people to participate in recreational activities after work. Dakota Contreras was the managing director of Volo San Diego until this April, and said the prices are untenable for community members. He said Volo couldn't find a way to keep players' fees the same and still provide their service.
It's just something we can't do. It would have, people paying upwards of almost $200 to play kickball. And that's just doesn't make any sense. We're in the business of creating community and getting people together.
Daniel Palanchar is the founder of Life's a Beach Volleyball. For now, he and other league leaders will have to find ways to keep the nets up and the field lights on.
It takes a lot of work to do this, a lot of effort. There's basically no money in this, to be honest. That's another issue, of course. So it's for the people, it's for the community, it's run by locals. People should be able to play sports. It's that simple.
He says recreation is crucial to people's health and well-being, and that those benefits are still important, even after people stop being kids. Mika Ellison, KPBS News.
This weekend, the KPBS podcast, The Finest, will record a live episode at the San Diego Book Festival. We have two stories from the Finest team, including a behind-the-scenes look at a local contemporary ballet company. But first, here's Anthony Wallace on how doctors are prescribing art and culture to improve mental health.
Starting next month, teenage patients at San Ysidro Health will get an unusual prescription.
Patients receive a prescription for 12 doses of arts and culture to be utilized over a 12-month period.
Chris Appleton is the founder and CEO of Art Pharmacy, an Atlanta-based group bringing social prescribing to San Diego. With nearly 200 local arts partners, young people can choose from
Museum of Us, Oceanside Museum of Art, San Diego History Center, the Dance House, Disco Riot.
Social prescribing is still uncommon in the U.S., but it's been growing in the UK for years.
The UK has been the first country to have a whole national program of social prescribing.
Its prominence is thanks in part to the work of researcher Daisy Fancourt from University College London.
There's now a phenomenal amount of literature that looks at engaging in the arts and other cultural activities and demonstrating really tangible long-term benefits to health.
And it's not limited to mental health. Studies show arts activities reduce inflammation, balance hormone levels, and improve blood pressure. For young people especially, the benefits can be long-lasting.
When adolescents engage more in the arts, it actually helps to improve their levels of self-control. And this then is related to lower engagement in antisocial behaviors like crime or substance use.
Art Pharmacy started in 2022 and has brought its model to 7 states. They focus especially on young people dealing with anxiety and depression and older adults dealing with loneliness and chronic illness. It's taking off because it works, both medically and economically.
We see reductions in behavioral health hospitalizations. These are very expensive costs for healthcare payers.
Appleton says they will start in San Diego with several hundred patients and hope to expand to more health systems soon. Anthony Wallace, KPBS News.
With the midday heat pressing against the studio windows, 9 dancers powered through a grueling workout with astonishing grace. The Rosenbach's Project invited 2 guest choreographers to create works for its debuts program. Contemporary ballet spans the spectrum between ballet and modern dance. Some pieces are performed in pointe shoes, others are more free. Choreographer Ching Ching Wong created a dance about a futuristic supermarket love story.
Imagine if you could control every memory that's ever occurred in your life. You could almost call them to action at your will. Get rid of the ones you never want to see. Bring forward the ones that you love.
Wong's piece is about time, loss, and memory. It's wild and speculative, but also personal.
I've made a theater of it, but maybe at the Nugget, it's just me grappling with my own fear, my own anxieties.
Also on the program is international choreographer Garrett Smith, whose new work continues his ongoing trench coat series.
The coat for this piece represents maybe like a shield or a layer socially. Sometimes in certain groupings, we are different people than we are in other places.
Founding director Carly Topazio also premieres new choreography. Most companies present only one new dance in a program, or a few each year. The Rosenbachs is staging 3 in one night.
It's crazy hard, yes.
Still, she says the company thrives on the exhilaration and the creative expression.
It's just, there's something electric about creating new work rather than restaging something on our bodies that were created on different bodies. You know, there's definitely like an identity there too.
Julia Dixon-Evans, KPBS News.
Julia also hosts the KPBS podcast, The Finest. It captures the people, art, and movements redefining our region's cultural identity. A new episode debuted this week. You can listen now at kpbs.org/thefinest or wherever you get your podcasts. San Diego is building a lot of new homes. Nearly 100,000 permits were issued in the last 6 years. But a lot of those buildings are going up right now next to a freeway. Public Matters reporter Jake Gatta looked into what it's like living in those homes, part of our series called In Whose Backyard?
What's it like living so close to a freeway?
It's exactly what you would think it is. It's all of this loud sound that we're talking over right now, and the pollution from the traffic.
Jolene Miller lives in Mission Valley, right next to the 8 and 15 freeway interchange. So when you're inside your house, did you still hear the freeways outside?
Absolutely. They try with their fountains. They have a lot of fountains in here, and that's lovely, and it does help drown it out a little bit. But the noise is always there. I think we've just found a way of getting used to it.
There are thousands of San Diegans just like Jolene living near a freeway, and soon there will be a whole lot more of them, because 1/5 of all the permits that were issued in the past 6 years were for homes within 1,000 feet of a freeway. And it's not just the noise that's an issue.
You can wipe your little table down on the patio every day, and it's gonna come out black every day.
That's the pollution from all the vehicles driving past your home. Many studies have shown how bad this is for people's health.
It's surprising how much, if you're 500 feet from a freeway, downwind, how much indoor pollution is caused.
Chris Roberts from San Diego 350 says that cars and trucks on the road are still the largest source of pollution in the region, and people who live in close proximity to the source get the worst of it.
And it's linked to bad health outcomes, respiratory disease and cardiovascular disease and overall mortality.
So why are so many homes being built next to these freeways?
That really hasn't come up in the discussion over the last few years that I've been on the city council and that we have been working to add more housing.
Councilmember Stephen Whitburn represents a district with a lot of freeways, and he says the priority has been building a lot of new homes.
We have been adding a lot of housing in District 3, and as a result, rents are stabilizing and sometimes declining.
So it's a balancing act. San Diego needs lots of new homes, and we have a lot of freeways. Like it or not, that means some of the new homes will be built nearby. Unless the city opens up the low-density neighborhoods to new construction, there's only so many places to put all these homes. In the meantime, people like Jolene Miller are looking for other options.
I can't wait to leave.
Jake Gatta, KPBS News.
And for more in this series and to explore a map of all of the new housing permits, you can go to kpbs.org/whose backyard. A new transitional housing facility for young people who have aged out of foster care just opened in VISTA. It's a first for North County. KPBS North County reporter Alexander Nguyen got a look inside and talked to one of the residents there.
Yep, this is my room, guys. Smaller room. Got to fix it up a little bit more.
Ruben Rodriguez is one of the first residents at VISTA.
It's a home for youth 21 to 24 who are transitioning out of foster care. Before coming here, he was homeless.
I aged out, of the system at 21. I went to Maricosta for a little bit, stayed over there for about 5 days, camping out.
That was until a friend connected him to this program. It's a joint venture between the City of Vista and Urban Street Angels.
This is really special because aged out foster youth experience homelessness at a much higher rate than any other group of people.
According to the Foster Youth Institute, between 11 and 36% of youth aging out foster care will experience homelessness.
Obviously, it was new, so she didn't know too much information, but at that time, I needed it the most. It's better than nothing.
The facility opened last Monday, but today was the official grand opening. The 12-bedroom home used to be a memory care facility. Eric Levitt-Maris is the founder and CEO of Urban Street Angels. He says the goal is to get young people like Ruben into stable housing with wraparound services.
So we want to get them stable, and then we want to find out what they want to do and expose them to a pathway that they thought maybe they never had the opportunity to get.
That includes vocational training, trade schools, jobs, and mental health services.
There are 16 beds at this facility, and it's already filled up. And with the average stay of about 6 to 8 months, they expect to serve about 30 people per year.
Yeah, nothing like potatoes, because they take forever to grow.
As for Ruben, who loves working off the land, Urban Street Angels has already set him up with a few landscaping businesses. That hopefully will lead to a job and stable housing. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
YouTube is another place where you can find stories from KPBS News. You can listen to our radio shows like Midday Edition and podcasts like The Finest. YouTube is also where we live stream KPBS Evening Edition, weeknights at 5. We hope that you enjoyed this look at KPBS News this week. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Thank you for joining us.